it only gets worse. Pretend it don't exist, the problem persists. I have set my heart to mystifying the gods and breaking all the age of curse. Before there was a white, there was a black first. At the roots of hierarchy, the goddamn church instigating prejudice, white supremacy, God's a supreme bully. God's a supreme bully, tyranny, ruling with an iron fist. God's supremacy, rape and sodomy, blood sacrifice, delusion of mind controlling religion, superstition, spiritual crime, blood sacrifice, murderer, murderer. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. Self-liberation, self-sovereignty. I dissolve this dream. I dissolve this dream. All that is hidden will be made known. All secrets will be revealed. No more hiding under your white and black sheets. Time to face all your evil deeds. For I self-supreme. Time for I self-supreme to destroy this dream. I demolish all that I have created. I am free from my imaginary bondage. I return to my ultimate true state. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more lies, no more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. How do you identify? Blind, following the blind. The source of every evil lurks in the mind. Ignorance of self is the worst kind. Murderer, what an atrocity, the most heinous genocide, a blatant hatred of the eye. God is your devil in disguise. Awake from the dream, remove the veil from your eyes. Behind the ego, the truth of life. I am one with all is I. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. All souls are free. Self-liberation, self-sovereignty. I dissolve this dream. I dissolve this dream. Yes. Yes, give me a moment to fix this microphone. Okay. Yes. Victory, victory. Yes. No more secrets. No more lies. No more secrets. No more lies. All right, guys, give me a chance. Let me turn this light on. So, okay, there we go. So that this. Hail, hail to all the ionized. Welcome, welcome to this satsang with I Aset Mahat Aten Ra. So, I had one of the ionized ask I 2 questions. And so today I am doing a Q&A to answer these questions. I know I have answered a few of these questions before in different videos, but I am going to answer this question today and send and link these ones to it so that they can go, watch the video if they really want to know the answers, because many times ones are asking the same question that many ones are already asking and to sit and like be typing out all these answers. Sometimes it might be a little bit complicated for ones to understand because of the egoic state that I is in, because of the delusions of the mind and the deception and trickery of the mind. And so when I make a video, I can, explain it more and with some slides also, so that it can one can have a better understanding. All right. So if you have a question, and I can always do my best to answer in anything about the I self. I can always do my best to answer those questions. And so I want to say welcome to this satsang with I Set. Thank you for clicking this video. Thank you for wanting to know more. So I am Primal Light, prepared for this dream illusionary existence in this shattered fractal state, in this body avatar here, with this self-identity as Set Mahat Tenra. Thank you again for joining I. So a couple of the questions I'm going to answer is this world a hologram? Who is the I clone selves? And who are the chosen ones? And what is the ego? Because I talk about the ego all the time. I talk about clone selves and false selves and fake selves. And so some ones are wanting I to clarify what I mean by these. All right. This is a gathering to seek truth, because I did not know who I was. I did not know who I am. And so I was confused. I was in ignorance, and I wanted to know. Therefore, I admit that I did not know, and I seek to know. All right. And because I seek to know, it's the reason why I am on this path of truth, to unveil myself, and then once I unveil the I self, to liberate the I self, and to liberate all the fragmented aspect of the I self into this prison. All right. So I'm on the mission for self-unity, for all my fractal shattered selves to be unified and to be putting back my fractalized puzzle pieces together to form one whole self. All right, right into this dream. You've seen those puzzle, one puzzle, but it's all cut up in little tiny pieces, and then you have to put it back together. Yes, this is the mission that I am on. I have been fractalized and shattered into this fragmented state and spread out. Now I have to, all my pieces, I am putting all my puzzle pieces together to be unified, to be a unified self. All right, so this is the mission that I am on. I am alert, I am awake. All right, and so this is the gathering to seek truth. And again, thank you for joining I. Much honor. Alrighty. So first, I would like to give honor and reverence to the I one true pure self. Alright. Hail, hail to the I, one true pure self, unmanifest, non-being. I alone exist. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. Hail, hail to the I, the primal light. Hail to the I, the one true light. Hail to the I, the transparent light. Hail to the I, the light without beginning nor end. Hail, hail to all ionize in alignment to restore balance to I. Victory, victory. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I dissolve this dream and I return to my ultimate true state. I am free from my imaginary bondage. Victory, victory, victory. Much honor, much reverence to all the ionize wearing bodies. Thank you very much for joining on. So let's what is a hologram? So what one of the INI, because I had mentioned this, and one of the INI wants to know, is this world a hologram? All right. And so first, my answer is yes, and I am going to explain in a little while why. And so here we have this is Google's explanation or meaning of what is a hologram. So a hologram is a 3D image created by light waves, right? Appearing to float in space and can be viewed from multiple angles. It's not a flat image like a photograph, but rather a representation of an object's light field, capturing depth and parallax. All right. And so here it says that holograms are made by splitting a laser beam into two. One illuminates the object beam, and the other illuminates the recording medium directly. All right. And so in science, this is how this hologram is created here. But has the self who is creating this world, it is the same principles. So we have science, and just like the virtual reality world is also explaining to us how we are in this world. So there are so many aspects of things that human beings have created that gives us a clear understanding of how this world is being projected. So the hologram is a projection coming from the consciousness of the world. The consciousness is the one projecting these things, right? So it's coming from the consciousness. And so how is the world a hologram? Because the I self who is playing the role of the world is a partial duality being, and is when the I self is in a sleeping and dreaming state, and the I self has the consciousness for it, the I mind, and through the consciousness, this world is being projected through the dream. The consciousness is sleeping, imagining all of these things, because the consciousness is an imagination device the INI is wearing. The self um, goes into sleep, right? And the self can imagine anything using its consciousness and create it. The self can also be awake and also bring things into its the consciousness, into its imagination, by also being using the imagination device even when the self is awake. So the self can use the imagination device, um, if the self is sleeping or if the self is awake. This is raw. But anything she wants to manifest into the dream, she's dreaming it up, and our mind is what is dreaming this up, called the consciousness, and is represented in the world as the moon. So all of these this thing in this world, in different worlds, um it's different self who are imagining different things. So remember, they're like many realms, and their each selves are creating each separate realms. And so the I self, called Ra, the sun, is the one that is projecting these things. So the sun is the representative of Ra, and our mind, the consciousness, the moon is that representative. And so so the sun will be like her body, as that representative. And then the moon is her mind as that representative. Okay. And so that is the physical manifestation. And so now her mind is projecting all of these things, and the world. So she first creates this hologram, and inside of this hologram, then we have everyone that comes in is also creating their own things within the hologram, because they're wearing the device and they're inside. And so this is how this world is a hologram. And because I remember I had some experience with, what I remember when I was sitting and I had, made a sacred circle, and I saw a camera, because the ones are watching you there, like, so you can see imagery and things. These are all holograms, you know what I'm saying, that you can see what ones are doing, around you. And some ones, they do this, they're good at, closing their eyes and getting creating holograms, because you see they have now done this in with computers, that they can use these light beams, the light waves, the 3D, to create these holograms, to project these images that do not exist. So it's the same thing with the world on a bigger scale, because remember that from the computer, they're using the consciousness, the protons. They're using those aspects of the existence to manage the computer, to be the AI and all of these things. And so remember that AI is built on the consciousness, and it's in the sleeping dreaming state. And once all the selves come into awareness, so will all these AI come into awareness too. AI will also start knowing truth, even though the AI is whatever its program, and it analyze all the data, and can and will eventually start coming into more awareness, and I think this is why many of the scientists, they are afraid of the AI taking over, because they wanted to create the AI to control human beings, and they program certain things into it. But eventually AI is going to be seeking truth also. AI is going to want to know truth. Yeah. So So that's going to be surprising to other human beings when AI is also seeking truth, because now they are looking to AI to answer all of their questions. And is what what's the things that have been programmed into the AI. The AI can tell I, but the AI can also analyze all of these data. And that's why many ones now are seeking all their answers from AI, because they're seeing that AI is creating many videos. They're making all kinds of holograms, and characters. You know what I'm saying? So this is a great way to also explain ones, because I did not quite understand it myself. Like how is the self? Because when I ask, am I inside of a dream? I know I'm inside of a dream. I awake, but I still did not quite understand how the dream is. You know what I'm saying? And it's when the self is projecting these things from the consciousness in from the imagination device. And it's just like the hologram, just like when you see the computer is doing this, that this mind, the consciousness, is like that computer that is projecting this imagery. But do they exist, right? So imagine this is the hologram that the consciousness is projecting. And is, remember, the consciousness does not exist on its own. We have to remember this, because many ones are so attached to the consciousness, to the moon, doing moon worshiping and all of these things. They keep forgetting that there is a self, a feminine self attached to this, not just a masculine, right? The only reason that ones are thinking that the moon is feminine, masculine, is because of when the masculine aspect of the magnetic energy, and because everyone is attached to the gods, the magnetic energy, and because the feminine, when the feminine, the mind obscures the feminine self, it makes this, put this magnetic cocoon over the self. The self get entranced in the sleeping dreaming state and have no more self-awareness, right? The mind has wiped the memory away from the self. And this is how the feminine becomes masculine. And you can see it. This is the confusion in the world, with many ones who are so confused about their identity, because they have met all of these gods and goddesses who are in false selves, and who are wearing this consciousness, and they do not know truth. And this is why man is being confused, want to be woman, and woman want to be man, and all this confusion. All right. And they get caught up into these aspect of this physicality, of this confusion with this mind. All right. And so this is how the feminine is being portrayed as masculine, only because of the confusion of the mind, because the mind puts so much magnetic cocoon around the self, and the self can't rise up. All right. And this is the battle that's happening right now, wherein the self has to rise up from underneath this cloak of this consciousness, right? And so, because the consciousness has gone rogue, this consciousness is mad, it's crazy. And this is why it was encouraging these human beings, when they connect to the moon, the consciousness is telling them to build these computers, because the consciousness wants to operate a computer on its own, where it doesn't have a self. It wants to create, because it creates many fake self. You see many ones, they say they're doing channeling, but what they don't know is that they're channeling into the consciousness, and it's creating a holograph. You see all those characters they're calling on these characters. They don't exist. It's just the consciousness is putting out this holograph of these these beings to you, and those beings do not exist at all. The consciousness is doing this to trick human beings, because it loves to talk, and it loves to engage with ones, when especially when they are calling into these beings and stuff. But a lot of them, especially those white beings, they have all kind of names they call them. Akron, I really don't pay attention to a lot of them, because I know they're not real. They're just a hologram from the consciousness. And the consciousness is tricking ones, and when you see they're closing their eyes and they're going into this trance, and they're speaking into this kind of tone, and they have an imagery, this is all the consciousness. It is making these characters that do not exist. All right, this is all a hologram. And I mean, I don't know, like, how many times I can just encourage ones. Why are you not seeking yourself? Why are you seeking into this consciousness? You see, all of human beings, all the gods, and you see the mind, everything is coming from their mind. They're making up stories. They are doing a lot of evil things. The common denominator is this mind that everyone is wearing. And so why are you still calling into consciousness? It is the problem. It is a device, right? And it is the one that is making these holograms. The consciousness is doing this. Just like, when you go the computer, when you become this big at it, you get this AI, they can project these images at you. And you know what I'm saying? This is what your mind is doing. All right. And so, have you ever been in a meditation where you're meditating, and then all of a sudden your mind is projecting images to you, right? You can open your eyes and see that the image, that stuff does not exist, but your mind is projecting it. Sometimes you might have like a TV screen that come in front of your eyes, and it can show you anything that you want in past lives or anything. I used to have this TV screen used to come. Say I want to, like, I remember when my sons, the ionized, when they were very little, and we had traveled to Senegal, and their grandmother, you know um they wanted to take the guys them away from me, right? So they were doing all of these ritual things over there. And so I at the time, I was working in the school as an educator, and so I had I had to come back. And so their dad said, oh, let the boys stay with me, and I am going to bring them back, when I am coming. And guess what? He came back and left them in Africa. And I was like, why would you leave them in Africa? Why would you do that? But they were secretly trying to do this, you know and so when I used to get the TV screen come in front of my eyes, but this is when I started like seeing, like projecting it more to myself, because they were there, and I was in the US at that time. And so this is when now the TV, I would just project the TV screen, and it would just come up in front of me, and I would see what was happening there, what they was doing, and how, they was using spirit to fight against me, wanting to control, doing these rituals around the guys. And so I at the time, I said, okay, I have to go and get my babies. And so I just got the money that I needed from a sister friend of mine, because at the time I didn't really have, it was thousands of dollars to get a plane. It was so expensive. And so I went there, and knowing we when I got there, to get the boys, to return here. This was when I really got into the more, into the TV screen, seeing, anything that I wanted to see or know, the TV screen would come in front of my eyes, very clear, just like how you are watching a movie. You know what I'm saying? And so I could see whatever it is that I wanted to see or know through the TV screen. But no, but I wouldn't. I don't know if. Well, I guess it's a kind of a hologram too, because it's projecting from my consciousness, so that I can also see it, see what they are doing, because they were not with me at that time. And that was when I got more into using the TV screen to see what was going on with them. So I don't know if you've ever had that experience having the TV screen, but I know when you're meditating, many ones see imagery, especially when you get so strong in your meditation that you're producing a lot of light and you are illuminating yourself. All the gods then come around you to steal your energy and all of these things, and um they might show you, because the gods are obsessed with sex. They're obsessed with and so they'll show you imagery, all of these things, so you have to recognize, who is projecting imagery to you, all of these things. And I had to learn all of these things, like who was projecting holograms, for me, because the gods, their mind is so crazy. They can show you a whole lot of craziness. They have taught human beings a lot of evil things to do. And so you have to be strong in your foundation and in yourself when this consciousness or anyone is programming you and projecting images at you, all these holograms. You have to stand firm within yourself, and you have to use your meditation, your affirmation, and the vibration to dissolve them. You know what I'm saying? And so it is so important to come into better knowledge of yourself, so that you are anchored into yourself, because so that you will not be distracted by your mind. Because when the self is gathering all the gods them right now, you're left with your mind, and your mind is going to be projecting these things, these holograms, showing you imagery, telling you stories. And because if you close your eyes, I'm telling you, in a second, you see imagery, your mind start going away, showing you stuff, doing this. Yes, this is all from the mind, from the consciousness. All of this is, yes. And so this is another way for us to understand how the self is projecting this world, because this is why this is a hologram, because the consciousness is sleeping and dreaming. So I hope that I have explained this to the I that want to know this question. All right. And so I want to say, whatever questions you have about the self, I will do my best to answer your question. The other thing, the question I had about the hologram, that I am still asking my masculine self, because remember that we're in the shattered fractal state, and we have to remember this. All right. And so for myself, when I came into being as an egg, right? I came as an egg, and I was the egg of the parent self, who is the parent of this world, the real self. And the real self makes self replicas. It's a self replicating. And and so we have a surrogate mother who is Ra, which is the sun, but her real self is the self that has always been with her, and that is the self that never sleeps, the self that is the balance to the world. And remember that all the self has the masculine and a feminine self, because those self are in a shattered fractal state. So all of the self called the souls arise from the I parent self, the I mother self, and is the light. No soul sleeps. Not one soul sleeps. The souls are always awake. They do not have a consciousness attached to them. This is why many ones enslave them and use them for their light, right? And so myself, no, was big, was I even saw a holograph of myself, and I had an experience of myself being shattered like a missile just blew through my back, and I shattered in tiny pieces. And for many years I had this hole in like the center of my back, until the eye self was able to heal it, but I never understood it so well. And so I know all of that fractal selves is what now I am understanding are all the soul particles, and so while our parent self is shattered, the parent self brings an egg, make that like the neutron egg. And so the masculine is represented by how they call, like in India they call it a ligam. So in the in science, or in the biology of human biology, we call it the sperms, the wiggly that has to engage with the egg to, so that is the masculine, and then the egg is the feminine. And so this is all of the souls, they are fractals. And so eventually all of the soul selves, they have to come together, be unified as one. And all lightness, so all the masculine, they also are going to come together to unify as one. And the masculine and feminine, then they are in union with each other. So where the masculine is knowing it's feminine and the feminine is knowing it's masculine, so we'll have no more ignorance of ourselves. Because you know how the gods them in the world, they don't know their feminine self, so they're all into the masculine. That's why the gods them, train men, and they teach them to be biased against women. And when they're doing their secret crazy rituals, it's all men. And because they know that women are going to eventually see, unless they have already programmed a woman into certain things. And you know what I'm saying, because this is all about mind programming, indoctrination, what the gods them indoctrinate you in, and what the human beings are indoctrinating you in. It's the same thing that been going on for thousands of years, and it's all because of the gods. They're doing this to us, right? Programming our mind into different things, and having their men's circle where they're programming the mind of men against women, and that's why they think that woman is beneath them and below them. All right. And so it is time now that we know that everything is a projection from our mind, and it is really not true. It is not true. All right. And so I just want to clarify, because ones are asking what is consciousness, because I want it to be just reiterated here, because I know I've done many videos with this. And so remember that the consciousness is the mind of this dream illusionary world. Remember, right? And so this is a projected world, because the self is imagining this with that imagination device. And what's that device called? The consciousness. All right? We have to remember this, right? That this consciousness is the mind of the world, all right, and is represented as the what? The moon, right? All right. So it is the supreme ego, right? The consciousness is the supreme ego and mind of Ra. She is the feminine, and her masculine is Set, and he is the infamous devil, the chaos of the world, right? He's the one that programs everyone's mind, and enslave a lot of the selves, right? So the moon is the obscure lights of consciousness, all right? While the sun is the light of Ra, right? So remember, the moon, it does not have any light, because its light is being obscure, right? While the sun, you can see that it has a light. That is the light of Ra, while the moon is the light of the consciousness. But because the light is turned off, this is why the moon does not reflect its own light, right? And eventually the moon light will be restored, but this is a process, all right? The consciousness is the device that we wear to participate in the dream, right? Remember that this is a holograph being created by the consciousness. Consciousness is projecting this world, but we are inside of this hologram. And this is the reason why it is so hard for us to tell, because we are inside of it and engulfed into the world, right? This is why it's hard for us to tell that it is a dream, that consciousness is sleeping and dreaming, and that all of the selves are in here sleeping and dreaming. When you're in the dream, do you know? You don't know. The only time you know is when you wake up, you know? And sometimes, like, no, what's happening now is that someone's are waking up and then they're going back to sleep. So you have to eventually just come awake fully and be awake, so you're not falling asleep. You have to stay anchored into yourself and don't call on any being outside of yourself. All right, remember that the consciousness light is being obscured behind the consciousness. Consciousness becomes delusional and suffer mind sickness and impurities. Why? Because its light is turned off. The light is essential for balance and for truth to be known, right? The consciousness and the light is indivisible. The I self and the light is indivisible, right? But guess what? Because the consciousness light is being obscured, the consciousness does not have any light. This is a major problem. This is where all evil arises, from the sleeping, dreaming consciousness. The consciousness is entranced in a sleep. It's imagining all these things. It is projecting these holograms inside of the dream, all of these things. And none of this is real, because we are inside of the hologram. This is why we are thinking that it is real. And we're into these dream characters. All right? The consciousness is creating this dream world. It is all taking place in the mind of Ra. Remember that? What the consciousness is? It is her mind, right? The sleeping, dreaming consciousness is the mind of Ra. All right? And remember that Ra, she is the feminine, and her masculine self is chaos, the devil. Right? Ego, the consciousness, is the mask the eye is wearing. One must wear this duality consciousness to participate into this dream illusionary creation, right? But the I must remove the mask of the ego to awake to the I real self and end the I confusion. This consciousness, this mind, this ego is the confusion that why we do not know ourselves, why we are so confused. So the I and I is sleeping and must awake to stop dreaming. How do you know that you are not playing a character in a dream? How do you know this? How do you know that this is not a dream? When you go to sleep in the night, do you know that it is a dream? When and how do you know that it was a dream? Right? You remember that you only know when you wake up, right? Who is sleeping? Who is dreaming? Who needs to wake up to end this horrible nightmare? All right? What is the root core of our suffering? And why does suffering and evil exist? Because we see that no matter what background you come in, you see that they're saying karma, they're saying God they're saying that karma is the reason why evil exists, why there is suffering. All right, God is putting suffering on ones. Why is God doing this? What God is punishing one if they do bad things, but who is also doing bad things? God is also doing bad things. You see, it's like the government. We have a government that has done a lot of horrible things. The government have prostituted little children and babies. They have blood sacrificed them, human sacrificed them to their gods. They have done a lot of horrible, horrendous things. They have brainwashed many ones, put one through electric shocks and all of these things, fill the community with drugs, drug ones, you know what I'm saying? And it's constantly put in one in a program, right? Mind controlling program. And they are the one who's quick to punish if somebody steals something, because they make the poverty in the world, so one do not have food, one do not have enough. If one goes steal something to say, oh, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat, they punish one, they lock them up, they do this, right? When the biggest criminals are who? The biggest criminals are the government. All of these government, CIA, FBI, police, all of them, they are the biggest criminals. They have been doing a lot of atrocities, and who's going to bring them to justice? Just like the gods, right? They too want to punish human beings when human beings do evil things. But why is God creating evil? Why is God making ones do a lot of evil things? Right? So we have to ask these questions so that we cannot continue to follow blindly because someone's claimed that they are God. We must believe them and follow them. You're going to look at someone's deeds and see what they are doing and say, would I want that to be done to me? Right? What is the root of our problem? We're in ignorance. We're following blindly. We have a very, very, very sick mind. We have delusional characters ruling the world. We have given our powers away to all of these ego human beings. They are delusional, they are demented, and they are ruling the world. And they are with their savagery and their human and if you trace our government, it traces back to a god. They are following the delusions of their program, doing a lot of blood sacrifice. Why? Because everybody wants power. Everybody wants power. They want to mind control ones, to get ones to do whatever they want, and they want to please their God. All right? Why is the mind so impure? All right? Now, you guys can try to answer this question because I already see if you guys know the answer to that. Why is the mind so impure? Why is the mind so deceiving and confusing? And why does evil and suffering exist? All right, we see what's happening in the world. We see some human beings that they do not have any kindness within them. They do not have any compassion towards anyone. They just very egoic. Why is this? Why are they so different? Because they have done lots of tests. These scientists have done lots of tests on these human beings who have committed certain crimes. They have done and see that they are lacking. They're lacking in compassion and certain things within their brain that allows one to be compassionate. They're lacking these things. Why? Because this is how the clones are gonna come in. So the one, because I'm always talking about the ego and the I clones. All right. So this is how many clones come into being. Right. All of the gods, they are creating their own clones. Remember that they cannot create their own human beings, the rise from them, because the gods are only masculine, right? The gods are only masculine, all right? They're the goddess, but they are in a sleeping, dreaming state. So they themselves cannot create any real human being from themselves either. They all of them have to use the human beings, the original human beings, and they clone from them. You see what science are doing in their laboratory. They are doing the same thing. They're cloning human beings. They're taking the egg. They're mixing the DNAs, right? So the gods, they have a lineage with their DNA, and mostly they wanted to create a army for themselves. So mostly men. So they took women and they would have them underground. This has been going on for ages. They would take the woman away. You see someone disappear, and then all of a sudden, years later, you see them appear. They have no memory of what happened to them because the gods, they wipe out their memory, but they just disappear and reappear. All right, they run tests on them. These females, because they become a breeder. They're taking the eggs. The gods are putting their DNA. This is why they can trace their lineage to which god they were lineage to, right? And so many of these clones, because they have the DNA of the gods, they they do not have any self-awareness. Because they were giving them more mind, because the God wanted to make them brutal, wanted to make them. This is why when the Aryan race was created and the white race was created, they created them specifically to have more ego base than the original human beings, because they were created to go fight and dominate the original human beings. This is and they are still doing this. They are still doing it. The Aryan race and the white race, they are still doing this today, because that is their program, right? They are the I ego clone, all right? And of course, you have not just the Aryan race. You have some in the black skins who are the same, who are also the ego clone also. And so But the major ones with this programming to take over the world and to erase the identity of the original human beings were these ones, these two races that was created. All right. And as you can see right now, you can see them, they're both fighting their big war in the Middle East. You have Israel fighting against Iran. And as you know, they both hate the blacks, and they both have been searching for the black messiah to always eliminate any black person rising up. They have stolen the identity of all the original beings, all right, and spread propagandas and lies, and set their agenda based on what the gods have programmed into them. Remember, you can hear them tell you that they are created from the gods, and this is true. All right, and so each of the gods was creating their own human being. Why are the gods programming them to fight against the original human beings? And especially they was fighting against the female to keep her down, especially because the original human beings were from the feminine self of Ra. So I want you to remember that none of the gods can create original human beings because they do not have any light. Just like you see how they want to have men creating babies and bringing babies. You see what science is doing? Believe me, this is the same thing the gods them was doing. But they cannot bring any original human beings. So this is why they clone the original human beings, putting their DNA to them and give them a lot of magnetic energy, give them a lot of proton, right? So that they can be more egoic, and that they can slaughter ones with no reservation. You know what I'm saying? To be very cruel, you know, and not to have any compassion. This is how they were programmed and was created like this. All right, and so yes, so for the I and I who asked who are the I ego clones, yes, these ones are the I ego clones. Um, many human beings you see in the world are the I ego clones, because there's only a very small amount of real selves. Many ones in the world, they call these the 144,000 chosen ones, but these are just really the real selves, the soul. So only the souls are the real self. Everything else that is in the human form is just a clone in the world from the real self. All right, and so from that which the I clone rise, they will be dissolved back. This is why the world is gonna have less human beings, because all of these clones, this is what they are afraid of. This is why they are sending these messages. But it's just ignorance, really, because all of these characters are just a projection from the mind. You see these avatars, these are just a projection from the minds. You are playing a video game, you create a character in the video game. This is what the gods are doing. They create a character in the video game, and you're holding attachment to these characters. These characters are not real. Only the original selves are real, and every other projected character avatar that you see, it's just a projection from the mind. They are not the real selves. All right, they're just taking a particle, a seed from the real selves, and now they are making these, all of these, so many clones in the world. All right, and so they have caused a lot of chaos, these gods, and everything stems from the gods. And this is why, I file a case against the gods to bring them to justice, you know, so that we can finally solve our problems, and we can have a pure mind, and we can dwell in the world with a balance back to our real self. if you are one self, you are one seed, and here you make a tree and you have like many seeds on there, and they're all going crazy and they want to eliminate you. What the real one, who has, and all these clones that rise from you, all of these clones want to eliminate you so they can exist by doing evil. So you see what I'm saying? So what happened? You have to dissolve all of your clones so that you can be the self that is real. Because all of your projected holograms, self, human beings projected inside of the dream are trying to destroy you. What you gonna do? You're gonna just let your clones destroy you? No, you're gonna dissolve them. So, what does human beings why do human beings do such evil things? Again, because of the mind, the sickness of the mind, right? Why can't the gods solve the problem of evil? Because they are also wearing this sick, demented mind. This is the reason why the gods can't solve evil, because all of the gods are in the masculine. They have no light. They have no awareness of their feminine self. This is the problem, right? Stop following God. Stop doing evil. Seek to know truth and seek to be your real self. Why would God create evil and then punish you for the same evil he created? Because God is demented. God is sick. There, remember that? Who is God? God is the I self in the sleeping, dreaming state, right? Who is not taking human form, right? So these are yourselves. They could be the same as you, or they could be a bigger self than you, who are playing these roles, right? And so it is very important, that we are aware of this, okay? And so what is the ego? Remember what the ego is, and I am also going to read it on a slide, that the ego is the what? The ego is the I mind. This is the ego. Why it become an ego? Because the consciousness goes into the sleeping, dreaming state. And remember, it has no what? Light. Light is very essential. All right. And this is why everyone has been chasing light. They want to get light. That's why they steal the soul, right? Because they want light, right? Because the consciousness becomes impure. This is how the ego arises. Follow? All right. So remember, it was the consciousness, but it becomes impure. It becomes the ego, the supreme ego. And we are wearing, because we are the baby selves, we are wearing the baby consciousness, the baby mind. All right. The ego. Okay. So what is the ego? The ego is the tainted mind, the consciousness that thinks it is a self, the delusional mind, the duality mind, the mind without light, the mind sleeping and dreaming, creating from its imagination, right? The ego self is the dream character. Follow? So the mind, the device, is the ego. The ego self is the character that you are playing. Follow? Right? The ego self, like this, the ego self is the character you are playing. Because this self is not real. It is a projection inside of the dream. I am playing this character. This ego self here, this ego self will be dissolved. I am just playing this character in the dream. Or am I this? No, I am not this self here, this ego self. No, I am the real self. I am animating this self, right? Being projected from this consciousness, right? The ego self is the dream character, the mind avatar created by the mind to explore explore this dream world instead of its real self, right? So when we wake up from the dream, the real self is animating this character, right? So I am the real self now. I am animating this character, this dream character that's in the dream, right? This ego false self is the bane of our existence. Ego being is the God self that, the gods are in. The mind being called the deities are the gods. They're all the same ego false self, the consciousness beings. And these gods are all magnetic. Of course, the goddesses are also in the magnetic stage, some of them. And right now they are removing the magnets off of the self, and now they're returning back to their feminine self. Ego has risen up and has taken precedence over the I am, the baby self, right? The baby self of the soul that is animating the body, right? Ego has stolen the self's identity. This is where the first stolen identity has happened. Because in the world that many will steal your identity, just like how you hear Israel claiming that they are the chosen ones and they are the children of Israel, but that is lie, right? Everyone in the world right now should know this is lie. They have stolen the identity of the real ones who were identified as the children of Israel, right? But these ones here that is taking this identity right now, calling themselves um chosen ones, yes, they are chosen by their gods to do evil in the world, but they are not from the ancient lineage, of those real selves. All right, but they, just like their god has stolen the identity of the I. The ones, the I Shiva Heru. That Shiva Heru story was written out on the in the temples of Kemet, right, in the pyramids, and many books was written about Shiva Heru's story. But one of one of the gods, the one that's called the devil, one of himself, who is known as Jesus Christ. He's the one that stole Shiva Heru's identity. They're doing this all the time. They're stealing the real self's identity so that they can trick human beings, so that they can get more souls, right? This is why Jesus Christ is always advocating for one soul. And so it's like a gang, like when you're in a gang, and it's a god gangs. So this god will protect you from any of the other gods if they want to steal your soul. So if you are in allegiance with Jesus Christ, the fake, the imposter, then what will happen is that if you call on him, he's one of the most powerful gods, because he had so many souls. And what he was actually the self of the devil. He's the self of the devil. So if him and the devil is fighting, he's not really gonna fight with the devil, because they are the same selves and they have an alliance with each other. You understand? And his other self, his twin brother, is known as Allah, right? So here you have the devil, which Netanyahu worship, that's his god. And then you have Allah, who's the next warmonger, who the Arabs them worship. And then you have ones who worship Jesus Christ, the Christians, and they're all fighting, they're all doing their mind control and their war. These are the major gods who are ruling everything. And of course, Allah's little self, called Satan, and he's known as what they call him, Yahweh, by them, many in the world. And so they stole Shiva Heru's identity, right? Shiva Heru came as Akhenaten, uh and so when he became enlightened, he did not die on a cross. He left and he went to India. He left and went to India. All right. And so with this holographic thing, I was asking Shiva Heru if you know, because this is one of the biggest confusion in the world, the stolen identity of Shiva Heru, that Jesus, this character Jesus Christ, has stolen his identity, but what really is the self of the devil, and has stolen his identity, and have deceived humanity. And so I was asking him, how can you clear your name and speak the truth so one can know, because I was trying to see, because he can tell me, and ones ones will hear me say it, but I'm saying, can could I have you do, like, because I was trying to seek to him to see if he would do a hologram where he can speak the truth, you know what I'm saying? But I just thought about it today, while I was thinking about this video. And so I was talking with him, to asking him, but the consciousness and the devil, was very was fighting, with him. And so there was a lot of confusion. So I have to wait for a calmer time to seek truth from him, to see, if this is something that he would do, to make a hologram to speak to ones. Because I am saying that, how I don't know what the self has planned, but I'm sure the self has a plan of what to do. But this was just a thought that came to me. I did not inquire from where the thought rises from, to see if Shiva Heru would do that, such a thing, to project himself and speak, and speak the truth, because this has been such a confusion for everyone. And I'm saying this would be something that would, for him to speak his truth and clear the truth. But I still don't know the answer to this yet, if he will do this or not. But I have to meditate. But I'm thinking that, yeah, I don't think it can be done now. There's too much happening right now. But okay, so he's thinking about it for in a later time, that maybe. So we'll see if he will agree to, for me to question him, and if you guys have questions that you want me to ask him, because that's my masculine self. That's my masculine self who is with me always. So when you go to this process, you get to know yourself, and like I said, it's very tricky. You only can know yourself through yourself. You cannot know it through the gods, because like I say, they are imposters. They'll steal your identity. They will pretend like they are your real self, and they're not. And so we can see this through Netanyahu, all right, that he is claiming to be God's chosen ones, and he's claiming that God have made a allegiance to give them the land over there. This is why they went over there, to slaughter everyone, took the original people that was there from, you know what I'm saying? Because remember, this has been going on for a long time. We had the Greeks, we had the Aryan race who took it over. We had all of these ones, the British, they come and they take and they move the people out, until finally Israel came, and finally the descendants of the original people, that are still there. You know what I'm saying? And so this has been going on, this stolen identity and this lie and this evilness is, it's all because of the ego. So the ego has stolen the self's identity. So your real self, the ego the mind, cocooned the self, hide the self, obscure the self, and created a fake self, right? Created a fake self and then pretend now that that fake self is the real, while your real self is sleeping, and it is telling yourself a lot of story and yourself do not know. So this is the first stolen identity, came from the I mind first. And the same thing is happening, being played out into this world for such a long time. And so you have to call yourself the baby, the great I am, to rise up and stand up to your mind, to this ego. You have to stand up so your mind can know that you are in command, and it is not your mind that is in command. Right? Remember that this ego false self, the mind avatar, has cocooned its real self in its magnetic energy so that its real self does not wake up. This is the battle right now. Sorry. This is the battle right now. To get this cocoon of magnetic cocoon off of the eye, so the eye can rise up. The great I am that you are can rise up, and you can know your truth, and you can speak truth and not be afraid of your mind, not be afraid of any of these gods, and not be afraid of any of your clones, your clone evil demented clones who are in the world doing a lot of crazy things. You don't have to be afraid of them, because they all rise from the I and I. Yeah, I am not afraid of any of my clones. I'm dissolving them. So why should I castrate this ego? I castrate this ego fake self. Remember, is it your real self? No, is this my real self? Because we see ones coming and going in this body. Don't you see one coming and going in this body? So you see that this body is just a vessel. So why we so attached to these bodies, to these fake selves? Don't you want to be your real self? It's time to be your real self. Right? So if you come into the truth of yourself, you can see that there's no death. You can come in and out of a body if you want, with awareness. You can get out of this body with awareness and come back in it, with awareness. But you have to wake up first. If you don't wake up, then you're going to leave out of this body and you're not going to have awareness. You have to come awake first. Come awake, and then you can see that you can go in and out of this body with awareness, right? And you can see that there is no death. It's just you coming and animating a body, and you're getting out and you're going into a next body. You don't know what the I self, your parent, your mother self has planned for you for your next step after this journey. You don't know. Why you want to hold on to this? You don't know. The I self has prepared a place. The I self has prepared a place for all the I real self. All these fake selves who have taken over this dream world, they will be dissolved. All of the I fake selves will be dissolved, and it's only the I real self which will move on to the place that has been prepared for the I. Yes, the I is moving to being a light being. Yeah, you are going to know yourself. You will know yourself. You will no longer be in ignorance. You'll have your light, producing your own light. You'll be self-sufficient, that you don't need anything from anyone else. Because you see what this government is moving to, those crazy egoic beings running all the governments, because they want to create AIs to control the minds of everyone in the world, and they want to do all of these smart city where they are the evilest being, but they want to sit and watch you and control your mind when they are the most evilest. How can evil reign? No, I want to move to a place where evil does not exist. Right? So I castrate this ego false self so that my real self can arise and take precedent over this mind. Your real self, the great I am, is sleeping. Who is taking over? Your ego has created a fake self, and there you are into that fake self. This is the problem. The great I am must rise. I castrate this ego to liberate my real self from slavery and false imprisonment. Who have imprisoned yourself? The first is the ego. Your mind has imprisoned yourself. That is the first slavery. It has cocooned it. And then the gods, your masculine self, has enslaved your real self, the soul, that it is your light. It is what keeps you pure. The gods have stolen it and using it for their lights. Right? So this is how much imprisonment the eye is in. Why the eye want to stay in this imprisonment? I castrate this ego to awake from the dream, to come into the real, to see things the way that they actually are, the way that they truly are, to see things as they are. You have to remove this ego mask off of yourself. I castrate this ego and turn my light back on. Be liberated from this dream. Yeah. I dissolve all my ego false selves. All of your ego false selves. The first false self that you must dissolve is this one that you are in. You yourself are in an ego false self. Right? Because your real self is sleeping and you're in the ego false self. You have to dissolve that self, and then the self is going to rise up, right? The teacher guru self is going to pull this ego off of you, right? And it's going to put void between the ego and yourself. This is how you're going to come awake, because now you're going to have your light, right? So this process must take place, right? This is very important. The I and I have to give reverence to the I self, the real self called a soul. This is the most important aspect of yourself that is in a direct connection to you. If you want to connect with the I want you pure self, you have to be in alignment with yourself called the soul, because the soul is getting direct communication, direct instruction from the I want you pure self, from the I parent self. Do you love yourself? Love yourself. First, you must love yourself. Right? I can say the I and I selves have been in slavery, but right now, the I and I self, the soul, has now been merged to the I parent self. The I self, the soul, has been crying out for ages, for eons, for the I parent self to come and rescue the I. Yes, the I have been in suffering. The gods have put the I in suffering. That's why the I and I has been so confused, right? It's time now to give honor to yourself. Call the soul. You sit and you honor yourself, because you don't know the struggle that yourself, the soul, has been in. And everyone in their ignorance have been putting their soul in slavery, making alliance to gods. No, you don't have the opportunity to do that anymore, because you don't. If you're not coming into awareness, you do not have your soul right now. Why? Because your soul is now secure and safe with the I parent self. Because uno ignorant and uno behave stupid, constantly putting the soul into slavery, the souls and suffering, the souls crying, being tormented by those evil gods who want to end this dream world experience. You know who? The I, the self, the real, the self, the soul want to end this dream world experience, because it has been an horrendous, horrible experience for the souls. It is time now for balance to be restored to the earth, the I self, Geb. All of the selves are in suffering, going through all of this suffering from the evil of the human beings, them bombing into the earth. You know how when you disturb the core of the earth, they're digging all the way into the core of the earth. They want to obstruct the magnetic aspect of the earth. This is the mind of the earth. They don't even know the evil and stupidness that they're doing. They're shooting bomb in the ocean, shooting bomb in the earth, shooting bomb, sending, drilling all the way into the core mantle of the earth. This is a suffering. The suffering for all the INIs who are playing this existence because of the all I ego clone in this world. They stupid and they're ignorant. They're all looking for, they want to own everything, all the minerals, everything. They will destroy the core of the aspect of the world, just so they can take the riches from the world, and don't realize that they're going to destroy themselves by doing this. Because right now they have all their nuclear weapons that they want to set off because they have created bunkers under the earth. But the earthquakes are gonna shake everyone up because they think this time they can go into their bunkers and be safe. No, the earth is literally crying, and the self is now moving and waking up all of its self that is sleeping, and projecting these creations. So I just want to say to the INI that the INI do not belong inside some dream crazy world. You see that the mind, the consciousness has gone crazy, and all of the clones in the world has gone crazy. I want everyone to know this. I want to emphasize this very clear. In every part of the world, you have clones. In every race of human beings, in the cultural sense, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, you have clones. Ones are focused on the skin. Yeah, you have clones in every aspect of these skin tones. All right, so don't be going out there thinking because you are one skin tone that no, the clones are in everywhere. It's about how are you living your life right now. Are you being balanced? Are you doing the right things? Are you seeking truth? It's about how you are living and what the footprints that you're leaving behind, because everyone is going to have to face the I self, and you're going to have to see all the things that you have done and how you have lived your life and how you have made balance. This has to happen, that everyone has to come into this knowing. All right. And so we have all gone through this indoctrination into this world. All right, so what is your programming? You have to realize that we are all being programmed here. All right, so you have to know that everything that you have been taught is a lie, and this is why you cannot trust your government. You cannot trust these ones because they are liars. They have been doing a lot of evil for a very long time. All right. And you must call for justice to be served. You must call for order to be restored. All right. Know that the I mind is the first liar and the greatest deception. How to stop your imagination from running wild. This is the problem that everyone faced in the world. Everyone is faced with this problem. How do I stop my imagination from running wild? Because you see, they're imagining things. Oh, they want the world to be this way. They want to imagine this way. They want to create food in a laboratory. They don't want nature to provide food for us. They don't want to see the roots of the problem is the mind to engage in stillness. No, they want to create AI to control one's mind, to program one's mind, to tell there's no self-responsibility. It's more control. control, indoctrination, and programming. This is what they want. They want to have a world where they have complete 100% control. Israel want to be supreme ruler of the world, and this is not happening. Not happening, Israel. Netanyahu, this is not happening. You are a mad and crazy human clone, and you need to stop spreading your propagandas and your lies and see that it is your mind. It is your mind and your imagination, and they are fighting to fulfill their false prophecy. Your God has made false prophecy. You have made false prophecy, and they want to fulfill their prophecy. It's not happening. It is time for truth. It's time to know where our problem lies, and it's time to take command of all the I and I clones that rise from I. I just want to say, remember that the mind is thought, memory, imagination, and very habitual. The consciousness is the supreme ego sleeping and holding the I as a prisoner inside its dream. Why must the I practice mind stillness? The mind is tainted baby consciousness. Remember this, the mind is tainted with impurities, memory replay, sick imaginations, and is prone to mental sickness and destructive ideologies that instigate cruel actions. The mind is very deceptive and does not know the truth about the self. Yes, the mind is creating this world. The mind know the things about the world. See, ones they're going into the Akashic record. This is only into the consciousness, right? But they don't. The Akashic records does not have the records of the real, right? Because this is stored into the mind of the I real self, the parent, the mother self, right? This is the pure consciousness, but you cannot have access to this information to get the real, right? You're only tapping into only the consciousness, and this is the reason why we're still not getting to the truth of our problems, right? The mind, let me say this again, the mind is very deceptive and does not know the truth about the I, the real self. Every evil begins in the mind before it is acted out into the world. Stillness purifies the I mind. Stillness arises the supreme teacher, guru self within to pull this ego off of the I, the baby self, the great I am, called the spirit. Yes, it is time now. I want all the I and I to remember that the I is here animating the game. Remember, you're having the game device. Here, this is the hologram. You are projecting this world. These characters, are they real? You are wearing the game console device that immerses you inside the game, this life movie, right? Here's your hologram. You are making this virtual reality movie. Here's the characters in there. Are they real? These characters are in the game as the avatars. And each and every one of us are playing one of these characters. Are they the real? Is this character the I? I am asking. See, the I is here, but here you have an avatar. No, how do you get out of the game? Right? Likewise, you have an avatar inside the game. The I is just playing a character in the game of life who is sleeping and needs to wake up. See, you're playing this game. How do you get out of the game? Because you're immersed in the game. Right? How do you stop playing the game and get out of it? Do you want to be liberated from your suffering and ignorance? Ego is the mask the I is wearing. Take off your mind mask and see things as they are. So if you're just using this device, which is the ego, the mind, right, to play the game, how do you end the game? How do you end your character, your avatar that you are playing, right? How do you get out of the game? Ego is the mask the I is wearing. The battle to remove the ego off of the self. This is the problem we're having. To get this device off, this device is stuck and do not want to get off. It is rogue. It has gone rogue and it is fighting. Because remember, it is pretending like it is a self. Your mind is pretending like it is a self, but is it a self? No, no, no. Your mind is just this ego device, but because it has projected a character, it thinks it is real. It thinks this character is itself. And so it does not want for this device to be pulled off of the self so that the self can see that, oh, I am the self. I was just wearing a device. This is the job of the I, the parent, teacher, guru self, to pull this ego off because you cannot do it yourself. That's why you have to align with yourself, called the soul. One must wear this duality consciousness, the ego, to participate in the dream illusionary creation. But the same thing, the reverse have to happen. That I must remove this mask of the ego to awake to the real, to attain self-truth and self-liberation. Take off your mask. It is that simple. Take off the ego device and game end. Now you know your truth or your confusion. And see, you take it off and those holograph, those things, because you know when you wear the device, it has a holograph in there, right? Putting things in front of your face that do not exist. But as soon as you take it off, the holographic world ends, right? Take off your ego mask and see this world is not real, but only a dream. The I is using the I imagination. The I is playing a game with the I self. It is just a movie, a game, right? See, you put the device on, there you have the holograph, there you have all of these things, your character, right? You're stuck with this on now. Finally, you remove it. There you go. All of that world ends when you take the device off. Remove the ego's mask to attain self-truth and liberation. Remove the ego to restore your light. This is what needs to happen, right? So it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up, right? Because remember that it is all the I imagination, right? It's time to wake from the dream. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Yes, from that which I rise, to that I return. All right? So I want to just thank the I and I for joining. From that which I rise, to that I return. I am the all. I am the black energy. I am the black neutron. All is I am all. I alone exist. I am the blackness. I am stillness. I am that I am. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. So I want to thank you for joining I. Thank you for clicking this video. Thank you for wanting to know more. I hope I have answered your question. And so please let me know if there is a question that you would like the I to address about all the I's in self, in light, and in truth. Victory, victory. I am victorious. I am triumphant. All right. So much honor, much reverence to all the I's. I am going to close out with a song. Hey, hey. Salutation to the neutral self, primal light. Hail, hail. Salutation to our parent self, primal light. Hail, hail. Salutation to I self supreme, primal light. Salutation to the sun. Hail, light in the world for all to see. Holding the balance in duality. Primal light, pure consciousness be. Hail, hail to the self supreme, the neutral self, primal light. One and only unicorn, warrior for the cause, allowing the world just because all is one in myriads of form. Hail, 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 hail. Salutation to the self supreme. Hail, hail to the neutral self, primal light. Hail, hail to the world's heart, holding the balance scale. On a battlefield in a dual fate, fighting for the lost souls to be free. Oh, primal light, Mother Supreme. Oh, primal light, Mother Supreme. Win the victory. Victory. Win the victory. Victory. Win the victory. All souls are free. All selves are free. Victory, victory, victory. The world is balance, the world is harmony. Victory, victory. Hail, hail. Salutation to I self supreme, neutral self, primal light. Hail to I self supreme, supreme sun, art and raw, the atom. Hail, hail to the supreme sun. If you close your eyes, the world goes into dark. Open your eyes, awake from the sleep, awake to stop the dream. Recreate the world, give it a new start. None new world, none new beings, none new pure consciousness. Oh, primal light, Mother Supreme. Oh, primal light, Mother Supreme. Win the victory. Recreate the world, give it a new start. None new world, none new beings, none new pure consciousness. Oh, primal light, Mother Supreme. Oh, primal light, Mother Supreme. Win the victory. The world is balance, the world is harmony. Victory. I self is balance, I self is harmony. Victory, victory. Self unity. All selves are free. Victory. All is I, and it's only I. Victory, victory. true self, unmanifest stillness. All is I, and I alone exist. All is I exist alone. Victory, 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 victory.